Hope Channel, changing lives.
Happy new month. I haven't seen you this month of February. It's a month of love. You are supposed to show each other love. It's not just for people who are married. It's not for people who are in a relationship. It is love to be shared for everyone. Agape love, the one God shared. It's not that one that boyfriend is worrying you about. No. It is the love from our Lord Jesus Christ, the forgiving one, the love that is sacrificial, the love that is constantly changing, because we believe that this month we have to show each other love. And as Christians, what's best way to do it than to follow our Lord Jesus Christ? You know, there's this thing that people say, must I always say everything to my partner? What are some of the things I can say and what are some of the things I can hide or not say? What are some of the things I can confidently say, oh, he doesn't need to know? And what are the important things he needs to know? I'm asking all these questions because, as usual, we have a story on our table from a young girl or a young lady who needs help. And today's topic here, I don't even want to go in, because when I start, I will go on and on and on, because I'm very passionate about it. And I am sure when you hear the story, you as well will be passionate about it. This is Real Talk. We get our stories from you real life people out there. And I would always encourage you to send your stories to us. You don't worry if it's not about relationship. It is a real conversation. So it covers all real topics: career, church, what have you, family drama. Your father is doing something that you don't want, your mother, your sister, what career path you should take, how you can go to church and be happy, because people are unhappy in the church because of all these wahala that goes on. Send it to us. Write your story, send it to us on our email address or on our WhatsApp number. And I'll find you just the perfect people to have that conversation. Because I believe that sharing your story, you must share it with the right people. So Real Talk, we find you the perfect people. And today I've done the same. He's a pastor and he's a doctor, but he does not want me to introduce him with all its titles. He thinks it's too long. Somebody say tautology. So today I'm choosing to go by doctor, because I believe for this our topic, I need that professional experience from him. My name is Evie. I come your way every day on Hope TV Real Talk. And today I'm your way again with another interesting story. I have the doctor in the house with me and 3 other people joining me virtually. COVID is real. We are keeping safe. I am more than a meter away from him because we want to make sure that we are all keeping safe. So please wash your hands, wear your mask, use your sanitizers, practice all the safety protocols. And with God on our side, we'll be just fine. Let me go straight ahead and introduce my guest in the studio to you and those joining me virtually. Doctor.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Josiah Ando. His Ando is with an R, not an
right.
H.
That's correct.
So, welcome to Real Talk once again.
Thank you for having me.
I introduced you well, did I not?
You did.
I'm sure your week has been busy. You are teaching here, you are giving lectures here, talks here.
Especially
family, home, and everything, especially this baby. It's because of the month of love. But how has the week been? COVID and everything, trying to keep safe. The family.
I started this week in the north, and I am here, so so far so good.
Oh wow, your week has indeed been busy.
Yes.
And you found time to come on Real Talk.
Well,
thank you so much. I hope you're ready for our story.
Yes, I am. Fascinating story.
I know, right? When I got the story, I said, hey, this one, I don't know how we have to manage it, because something must give.
Well,
something
we'll see what we
can do. Okay. Thank you once again for joining. Right. Joining me all the way from the Volta region, I have Philip Agozo. I don't know if I got your name right. Philip Agozo. Philip, can you hear me?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Welcome to Real Talk. How are you? Your week? How are you keeping safe?
I'm doing fine. And because COVID is around, things aren't normal though. But we are trying our best to be safe. So I'm fine. And I'm glad to meet you on the show.
I am very, very glad to have you on the show. I hope you're ready for our discussion. It will definitely be an interesting one. So joining me again is Mrs. Mansa Eso Hammond. Mansa, if you can hear me, please say hi to myself and my amazing audience.
Hi, Evie, good to be on this show. This is my first time
I know.
I'm so much excited.
I am very excited to have you on the show. I know you're at home with the kids. I can even see from your facial expression that you're trying to get them away from the screens. Hopefully we can have a discussion without interactions from left and right. But I'm so happy to have you on the show, and I know you're ready. How's the family? How are you keeping safe from this deadly virus?
Well, we are doing so great by God's infinite grace. We are doing what we can in our human perspective to be safe, and we just ask God to also add His, His protection over us. We are making sure we are, yeah. I'm so sorry, yes, baby.
I understand.
We are making sure that we are going according to all the COVID-19 protocols, washing our hands,
right,
keeping our nose masks on and all that. We are just praying God to take us through this uncertain times.
Right. We are definitely asking God to take us through these uncertain, difficult times. Mansa, thank you once again for joining us. So all the way from the United States of America, in the state of Texas, I have Mrs. Miriam Nyameche. I don't know, Miriam, if you can hear me. I think it's noon at your end. I would say good afternoon. How are you doing? And how has your week been so far?
I'm doing good. Well, my week has been okay, not too bad.
How are you guys faring with COVID in the States?
Well, we are surviving, trying our best.
Right.
Washing our hands, keeping the masks on and all that. It's kind of weird because things are not normal anymore.
Exactly.
We are surviving.
Yeah, we are surviving. This is the new normal. Now, it's funny when you don't see someone with a mask, you're watching the person like, you don't look like the regular person on the streets, right? Thank you so much for joining us in the studio. We would have to take a look at our story. Stay tuned, stick and stay. Take your pen and paper and write all your comments or questions. You can also watch us live on Facebook or YouTube, Hope TV Ghana, and leave your comments under the comment section. This is a community of discussion. So all of us join live, leave your comments. Let's have the discussion on Facebook and YouTube. And when I come back, we'll go right into the discussion. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back. I am sure you just heard our story. I told you it was an interesting one. Abortion, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not even 5. 9 times. And now she has no womb because obviously she probably went to a doctor, she got complications, she lost her womb, and she can't have kids of her own. She's about to get married in 2 months' time. her fiancé does not know that she does not have a womb. So she's contemplating, should I really tell him? Oh, maybe I should wait after the wedding. Then I'll tell him that, oh, you know what? I can't really have kids though. Should we adopt? This is a real story that someone is going through. She's confused, she's disturbed, she's worried, she has no idea what to do. Somebody will say life and choices, consequences. Okay, let's go right into the discussion. Doctor, what is your general take on the story? What is going through your mind right now?
Well, should I say I am not surprised? I am not surprised because the moment I got the story, coincidentally, I had read something that was flying around on social media about a mother who was chatting with her daughter on WhatsApp and telling her, make sure you do not tell him about your, and the number there was 9, about your 9 abortions.
Hey.
And you know, make sure he doesn't hear. Your wedding is coming Saturday, so make sure you don't tell him. And it's so bad that your stupid ex impregnated you 9 times and all that.
9 times.
And then the response was, ma, this is me, and your daughter is in the kitchen. In other words, the chat wrongly went to the young man.
The husband to be.
Exactly.
So her future son-in-law.
Exactly. So the chat wrongly went there. So I was like, well, could it be the same story? Couldn't it? Well, but I know it isn't the same story, because in this story the wedding is 2 months away. I am not surprised because there are a lot of people who get married on secrets. And so that is why I'm not surprised.
Right.
And this is just one of such cases. And so the moment, my first impression about the story is that, well, it is one of the cases in which someone is in a dilemma as to whether to tell something and lose the marriage, or wait till after marriage and then the issue comes out. And these are things that happen. In this case, it is about the person being wombless. There are cases where the person has a child. There are cases where the person has a certain deep secret and thinks that this shouldn't come out until after marriage. So it is just one of those cases.
Yeah.
And I believe that we can help our dear sister to go through what she's going through.
I hope so too. Miriam, I'll come to you. Aside your general take on the story, Pastor mentioned something about going ahead and getting married with secrets. But what is your opinion on transparency in relationships? And what must we tell and what must we not tell? What would you say is, oh, I have to speak on this one. This one, I can keep it. He doesn't really need to know. Or you believe that regardless of what it is, you must tell, especially in this situation?
With this situation, I would say you must tell, because this is nothing to joke around with. But sometimes it depends on the kind of person you're getting married to as well, how the person is able to accept certain information that you're going to tell him or her. So you can get into the marriage not telling certain things, and it may not be a problem at the end. But with situations like this, whatever it is whether you tell it before or after, there's always going to be something. So to me, it's better for you to let the person know whatever it is that you have, whatever secrets that you have, before it even gets serious.
Right.
Because it's better that way. Tell the person whatever and let the person decide, oh, you've told me this, I still want to be with you, or I don't want to be with you anymore. That way, you know what you're getting into in the first place. So I would say tell it, but sometimes it depends. You don't have to tell the person if you've slept with like 20 people before him or her. You don't have to go telling the person, no, I slept with 20 people before you. That is that is a no. But with other situations where you know it's not going to really be a big deal, it's okay. But with this situation, it's a no-no. She should have told him way before the relationship even got serious, when actually you know the person wants to have kids in the future.
In the future.
So that's my take.
Right. Thank you very much. Mansa, I would come to you as a married woman. Maybe you wouldn't share this. Were there things you didn't want to disclose before marriage? And in this particular instance, what do you think the girl should go ahead and tell her husband to be that, oh, I do not have a womb, I can't have your kids, but you know I love you, so we can go ahead with the marriage? And then your general take on the story.
Thank you so much, Evie. Of course, I'm married. I've been well married by God's grace over 11 years. And I would want to say that, yes, there was certain information that I deemed fit I needed to share with my to-be husband. And there was some information that I thought it wouldn't be very necessary. Okay. How was I able to differentiate or decipher between which information to share and which not to share? What I did was, okay, take this situation. So for example, if your husband gets to know that this is what happened after you get married, is it going to cause havoc to your relationship? And if he doesn't hear it, is it going to cause havoc to your relationship? I believe that when it comes to information sharing, there should always be a balance. There should always be a balance. Sometimes women give too much information to men, and then when there are issues or difficulties, those information are used against them. So I will say that yes, there are certain information that seriously needs to be discussed, agreed on. If the person is very comfortable with you, you go ahead. But there are certain information that seriously you do not need to disclose to your to-be husband.
Okay.
For this story, in fact, I shared it with one of my elder sisters, and what she told me was you know what, take the stress off the lady. Just give me the guy's number, and I'll just forward the information straight to the guy. and you know, we laughed over it, but I think this is a very serious information that could be a break in the relationship.
Right.
So for that matter of fact, the lady, regardless, needs to share this information with the guy.
Yeah.
But it's going to take a lot of courage and sincerity, boldness, and the confidence to be able to approach this guy with this information. Because come to think of it, how can you, for me, I was surprised. I know Pastor said he wasn't surprised, but I was surprised because during our time, the way we were brought out, you dare not even go and have an affair with a man before you get married. And even if you did, there is always the word ABC, abstinence. Abstinence. If you can't abstain, there are other things that you can do as a lady. I know we are all Christians, but these are real life issues. There are other things that you can do as a lady that you can make sure that you protect yourself. Apart from even getting pregnant and have to go through horrible abortions leading to the loss of your womb, you could contract a lot of sicknesses, diseases that could even cost your life. So for me, I was surprised that a woman could go all the way to 9 abortions. Seriously, she needs to disclose it to the husband to be. Thank you.
She needs to disclose it. Thank you so much for your comment, Mansa. But Philip, as a man, would you want your fiancé to come forward and tell you, oh, babe, I can't give you kids. I am wombless. And it was because I went ahead and had 9 abortions by my ex. He did not marry me. I got pregnant for him 9 good times. And all those times, I went ahead and I aborted. So I do not have a womb. We are getting married in 2 months. Should we go ahead? Would you want your wife to tell you this? Or someone will say, I don't know how they say it. Ignorance is bliss. If you don't know, it is not an issue. What is your take on that? And then as a man too, we are talking about how the woman had 9 abortions, but it was a man that caused it or made her have those 9 abortions. So men, as you're telling someone else to go ahead and abort babies, they are someone's future wives. Now this issue that has come, the ex is sitting down comfortably. But tell me, as a guy, what is your take on this?
Okay, you really loaded me. But as a man, this is an issue of whether you want me to be happy in the marriage or not, because eventually I wouldn't like the idea of having a wife without a womb. As in knowing in marriage, not in relationship. You tell me during our period of dating, and then I will go back, think about it. If there is a possibility of adopting a kid, that has to do with how much I love you or how much I do want to stay with you. But the issue is very sensitive that I would love that you tell me, oh yes, I have done this number of abortions. Even the number doesn't really matter. Tell me you have done this, and this is the consequence you are facing now. And because of that, this is the issue. Then I will decide whether I need to stay or I will not stay. Personally, I would not like to rush into the marriage. If I'm the guy, I will wait after knowing this truth. I will wait and think twice. Perhaps contact my mentor or my teaching priest, get some counselors and talk to people before I will finally decide whether to do this or not. And then secondly, just as my other sister was saying, see, we have this APC. If you cannot abstain, at least you can protect. And if you cannot protect, you can use contraceptive. Okay, so as a man, usually the case is a man forcing or a man luring a woman into sexual affair in relationship. Usually that is what we do say. But as men, we should always try to abstain. And even if we cannot abstain, then we should protect ourselves. And even if that one cannot work, be sure to help the woman to have a contraceptive after the affair. When we do all this, then we'll be able to counter or prevent these incidences. But before I end this part, I want to give a statement of the problem. That I was pulling out a database on abortion. So you see that per 1,000 women that come to the hospital for legal abortion within the fertile age of 15 to 44, we have per 1,000, 37 women come to the hospital every year. Okay, and looking at Ghana's population, we have 50,000,054 women which are in fertile age. And that gives us around 405 of women coming into the facility every year to commit abortion. That is just legal abortion. Okay. Now, every woman that comes to abortion, we have 50 women coming to the hospital. It means we have about 150 times 3 of the number that comes to the hospital goes outside and use other methods to commit abortion. So what I'm trying to say is that this is not an issue of 100 women. We are not talking about few people. We are talking about thousands and even millions of women committing these acts in just a year. So it is something that is with us. It is a big problem. And I'm glad someone has boldly come out to approach us to seek counsel on what he should do.
Wow, wow, wow. You see, sometimes when we hear these things, we think it's so far away from us. But from his stats, it means you know somebody who has committed an abortion. That's right. And who's walking around with you and you have no idea.
Exactly. The reason I said I am not surprised, actually.
Could be a sister, it could be a friend. It is scary. And like you said, we have to talk about these things and then help women to know how to manage their lives and not find themselves in such a situation. But doctor, because of that.
That's right. That's fine.
Yes.
You asked earlier about impressions on issues of transparency.
Yes.
All right. So what I would always say is that transparency is a good principle in relationship and in marriage. Reason is that relationship is supposed to be geared toward marriage.
Right.
And in marriage, I mean, one key principle is transparency because, I mean, Adam and Eve were naked and unashamed. So I am going to get married to X. I need to know everything that is happening with X.
Right.
Because we are going to be one.
Yeah.
So it is good to be transparent. But the question of my past, especially the negative, should I know? Should I not know? And that is where there are issues.
Right.
There are times people they ask direct questions. I mean, someone was talking about how many, people you have slept with,
yes.
how many days.
Yes.
Those, personally, I think are not necessary. But what I will say is that when you look at your past, aspects of your past that have the tendency of having an impact on the marriage need to be known. In other words, if there is something that may not have anything to do with the marriage, then there is no, you have no business knowing it, especially when it's negative.
Right.
And it is not going to come up. But if it is likely to come up in marriage, and it's likely to have an effect on the marriage, then it better be known, so that we know that this was known before the person went into the marriage. And that is the principle I think we should operate when it comes to issues of transparency in relationship.
How, if it indeed has an impact on the marriage.
That's
if
right.
it doesn't, there's no need.
There's no need.
So, doctor, in this scenario, we've all agreed that she should tell her husband-to-be before the wedding. But how does she go about it? Is it the one that, you know how when parents want to talk to you, they come to you, how much?
All right.
They don't talk to you, they wait and done, they don't come and knock on your door. We have to, I don't know if that time is it that one, so much she wait and done and do that.
Every type of conversation needs to be properly planned,
exactly,
properly timed, and all that. Now, in this situation, the reason why she has to talk about it is the fact that she herself said the man likes to have children. And this is something she's not just getting to know.
Yeah.
She's known it all along.
Yeah.
I do not know how long they've been together, but it could be more than a year on the average.
Right.
Now, from day 1 or from day 7 of the relationship, she probably knew that this man loves to have children. And at that time, she also knew that she couldn't give him children.
Right.
But waited till 2 months to the wedding. That in itself is a mistake, which she has created, and it is putting her in the mess.
Right.
If she says she loves this man, she says she loves him. Once you love the man, it means that you are interested in his happiness. And that means that you want him to be happy in the marriage.
Yes.
And that includes giving him children.
Yes.
Whichever way. It needs to be talked about.
Right.
But you need to be very tactful. Now, this is my suggestion on how she may want to go about it. It is because she's already said she knows that he wants to have children. That part, that the very first part of my strategy is dealt with. That is getting to know the man's intentions, the man's plans, and all that.
Right.
So the next is to give a hypothetical case. What do you do in case what you hope for, what you wish for, what you desire does not happen? You desire to have children. Say, for example, I'm sure they've talked about even the number of children. I'm sure they've even named their children.
I know.
All right. So what if the names you've given, you don't get to give to these children?
Right.
What if, for some reason, it doesn't happen? Now, when you are asking this question, you are looking at him, and this should not be done over the phone or on Zoom, face to face, eyeball to eyeball. You are listening to him and looking at his reaction. You know exactly how it is going to turn out. In other words, by his response, you know that if it turns out to be, to go the other way, he is simply not taking it.
Right.
Which I think, perhaps we will get there. I don't think anybody should get married with 100% surety of having children. But let's assume that he is that type. Once you get to know that that is that type, then you know that, well, this marriage may not work. And I will tell anybody in relationship, even if tomorrow is your wedding, the likelihood of the marriage not working is still there. So you don't give yourself 100% surety that by all means, once we've dated for 7 years, we will by all means get married.
Right.
So she would have to do this psyching. Another way that she can do is to create another hypothetical case. Give a scenario of a friend who has done X, Y, Z, and they are getting married. If you were the man, what would you do? His reaction would let you know whether you have a chance or not.
Okay.
I don't know if this will be clear enough.
Yeah.
So that once you know his reaction, you know that, okay, what if what I just told you is me? What will you do? And then the real, well, he may say, well, I love you,
right,
and all that. Or he may say, no, if it is you, then I'm sorry. I'll just call off the wedding. And the moment it happens that way, I would not advise her to value the marriage over the happiness that the two of them will have. Because the point is that, yes, you may get married, you may hide it and get married, but it will definitely have an impact on the marriage. If he's the type who is so much into children, he will either go and have children outside, or he will call off the marriage. And a broken engagement is better than a divorce.
A broken engagement is better than a divorce. If you took nothing out of today's discussion, please remember this. A broken engagement is better than a divorce. This is Real Talk. We'll go for a quick break. When I come back, I'll take the opinions of Mansa, Miriam, and Philip on how she should go about telling, and if being able to have kids is indeed a deal breaker for a marriage. We'll be right back. This is Real Talk. Do not go anywhere.
For the lack of knowledge you will perish, as the Bible says in Hosea 4 verse 6.
The grace, the blood of Jesus is there for us. So I can't be sick, I can't be poor, I cannot suffer affliction.
Jesus told you, be faithful unto death to receive the crown of life. We have to go through tribulation, we have to go through problems, because there will be no crown without a cross.
The verse says that we will go through afflictions because of his name's sake.
Yes.
There are lots of eye-opening discussions to prepare you for the second coming of Jesus Christ. Join us as we watch the signs with Pastor Kwabena Chum on Hope Channel this and every Thursday at 4 p.m.
Welcome back from that quick break. You are still watching us right here in the studios of Hope TV, and the show is Real Talk. My name is Evie. I have with me today in the studio Dr. Andor. Joining me virtually, I have Mansa, Miriam, and Philip. And joining me on Facebook and YouTube is you wonderful, wonderful audience. I would encourage you to leave your comments under the comment section. The page is Hope TV Ghana, both on Facebook and YouTube. And I'll make sure I'll pick some of the comments as the discussion goes on. Before we went on the break, we looked at this, obviously, our story, the young lady who has had 9 abortions, and because of that she does not have a womb. She's getting married in 2 months. Unfortunately, these abortions were caused by her ex, and her new boyfriend or husband-to-be has no idea that she cannot give him kids. But he loves kids. And now 2 months to her wedding, she's wondering if she should say it. But she's contemplating, should I say it before or after the wedding? Because, or maybe I should just keep it to myself. You know, what you don't know does not hurt. But we'll be having that conversation. Doctor has given his opinion, Mansa, everybody has. And if you joined in, you're not too late. You can still catch some very essential information as we continue with the discussion. But I'll go straight to Miriam. Miriam, I would ask you, in your opinion, how should she go about telling her fiancé? Should they go for counsel? Should she find an elderly person that he respects? What is the process you would suggest? And then also, do you think having kids is a deal breaker in marriages? Maybe somebody will say, I know you can adopt. I mean, if you love me, you don't have to have our own kids. You can always go and adopt kids.
To me personally, not being able to have kids is not a deal breaker for me, because there's always the option of adoption. somebody may know that they would be able to have kids, and somebody may not know that they are not able to have kids until probably they get married and they're struggling to have kids and they're like, oh,
Right.
you can't have kids. They go to the hospital and then they find out, oh, you can have kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I know in our Africanness, when you get married, the first thing they expect is for you to have babies. But then to me, you're getting married because you two love each other and you want to be with each other. The kids are a blessing. If they come, fine. If they don't come, well, there's always options. So to me, not being able to have kids is not a deal breaker. If say, I'm with my husband, we've been trying to have kids and we've been trying so many times, and we go to the hospital and realize maybe I cannot have kids or he is not able to have kids, I wouldn't be, well, it's going to hurt that I'm not going to have my own, but then it wouldn't be too bad because there's always the option to adopt. There's so many kids out there that needs parents. So to me, it's really not a deal breaker. And the first question was whether how she should tell him.
Exactly.
Sit him down. It's better for you to sit him down. If you want to bring somebody like an elderly person, a pastor or whatever, you can do that and just sit him down and tell him, you didn't mean to, well, although you meant it because you already knew and you didn't tell him, just tell him straightforward. You didn't know how to go about it because this is no child's play, and you need to find the right words and the right time to tell the person. To me, I felt she should have even told him way before things got serious. But then she waited all this while, and now they're about to get married. Don't wait till after marriage, because for all you know, after the marriage, he finds out he's going to hate you for the rest of your life, and then what happens?
Right.
There's no marriage, there's no love, there's nothing else. You've literally lost everything. But then when you tell him before the marriage, you give him the chance to choose whether to still be with you or to call it off.
Right.
If he loves you way too much to let you go, maybe he'll be able to accept the fact that you can't give him kids, but he loves you, he knows you're a good person, you're the kind of person he wants to spend the rest of his life with. Let him choose that, but you've already told him the truth, so then you'll be free. Just tell him, be free, take that off your chest, know that I told him the truth and he decided on whatever it is he wanted to do. So I would tell her, find the right time, sit him down. If you have somebody, an elderly person that he respects, bring that person in and then tell him whatever that it is and let him decide whatever he wants to do before the marriage.
Right. Thank you so much, Miriam. Philip, is having kids a deal breaker for a marriage? You're a guy, guys who say, hey, I want to be a father, biological father. And we have to be real. Ghana, adoption is not very popular. It's an unpopular opinion. We all want our kids, our wives to carry our kids. That way, I'm a man. Africa, we are still trying to get into the space of adoption. So that is not quite popular. But Philip, with the story and everything that is going on, with love also in your mind, you really do love this woman. Is she not being able to have kids such a deal breaker? Or you think you can overlook it and then maybe find other ways of having children?
Yeah, Evie, as a man, you see, anything can happen. We all do make mistakes. Yeah. What if I'm the one in the lady's case?
Right.
Okay, sometimes some things happen and it's actually not our mistake. Just as we are hearing about COVID now, and when the males recover, they are finding problems with erection and stuff. What if that happens to me? You see, that will be my problem. And it means I might not be able to have kids. You get what I mean?
Right.
So I'll just put myself in her position. That a situation may happen and I might be the one. Or maybe I contracted a disease and where it isn't a deliberate action and I have no chance to make kids anymore. So I'll just put myself in a position and making kids actually, personally, it's nice, it's cute to have your own children, but we all do make mistakes. And since there is a choice or since there is another option, I'll consider that option by adoption. That's one.
Okay. We seem to be having very open-minded men in the studio. But Mansa, you have two very beautiful kids who obviously are not allowing you to have your shine on today's show and want to be in your spotlight. So I would ask you, as a woman and knowing the kind of husband you've married, do you think having kids would have been a deal breaker? Or you feel like it can be forgiven and forgotten and they can move on with their life?
Okay, Evie.
Yeah.
The last bit, forgiven and forgotten. I think it can be forgiven, but it's going to be very, very difficult to forget.
Right.
And I like the perspective from Philip. It's very interesting, but for me and the little experience I have, it's very, very difficult for men to put themselves in women's shoes. They don't. When it comes to men, it is all about them, with all due respect. And they don't mind whatever happens.
You should see how Doctor is looking at you in the studio.
What is the woman who made the mistake? It is you. Once the man makes the mistake, he can be forgiven. That is our culture.
Right.
Women are not pardoned. It's a man's world. So I'm so glad Philip has that perspective. It's very good. Please keep it up. But men of these days, I doubt if they will do that. Going on, I'll say that, you see, having kids is not a deal breaker, especially if you're unable to have kids by nature. Okay. You know that both of you have gone to the hospital, you are all clean, you don't have issues, yet the kids are not coming. It's understandable. Or probably by no fault of yours, you have issues with your fertility as a woman or as a man. That is understandable, it's excusable. There are so many options out there now. Science has improved so much so that even medicine can help you if you have issues with your fertility. So all those issues or those aspects can be taken care of. And by the good grace of God, if you also have a strong spiritual background, we know that coupled with your prayers, God in his own will or time is going to make something beautiful in your life.
Yes.
But where you know that you have issues because of your own silly mistakes of the past. Okay, that is where it's very, very difficult. And especially when those mistakes are irreversible.
Right.
Then it becomes very difficult. In this case, yes, I say that the lady should tell the man, and I agree with Miriam that she should have said it from the onset, because I remember just when I started dating my husband, because my husband had been I won't say pursuing, but he had shown interest several years before I decided, to give my mind to him. And at that time, I had just ended a relationship not long ago. And the person I ended the relationship was still pestering me because he said he was not ready to come out of that relationship. And I knew that relationship was not going to help me because there were certain issues that I couldn't overlook. And it was very difficult for me, but those were some of the first issues I discussed with my husband now. So I told him, this is me. This is who I am. This is what I'm going through. Are you ready to go through with me? You see? And we were able to work through it. When issues come, we discuss it, we work through it, and that's how we got along.
Right.
So she made a mistake. And relationship mostly is built on trust. When someone builds trust for you and you break that trust, it's very, very difficult to rebuild that trust.
Right.
Okay. So the gentleman may love the woman very much, but because the man may feel the lady has broken his trust. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And because of that, it will be so difficult. Okay, what are there other issues that she's hiding that she hasn't told me that are going to be deal breakers in our marriages, in our marriage, sorry. So all these things will be going over and over in the man's mind, and it's going to be very difficult. If the man accepts the lady, then truly, truly, it is God's will that they should get married. But regardless, the lady should be in a position to share it. However the lady is going to go about it, for me, I think that it would be best for the lady to sit the guy down and tell him herself. But if you think that it's going to be so difficult for you and you need a third party, why not bring in somebody respectable like my other colleagues have suggested and talk about it?
Right.
But I mean, you know, there are other options that you can do. The gentleman, if really he wants a child, he can always get his sperms, fertilize it with a donor's egg, and get a child. There are other options that the man can look at, but that I think that the issue here will be the trust.
Yeah.
The trust that, yes, the lady has broken the guy's trust, period.
Yeah.
And that's going to be very difficult for the guy. And guys don't play with their trust. If it's them, it's a no-go area. But if it's you, the woman, oh, it's a man's word, forgive and let's move on.
Let's move on.
I think that's my opinion on the issue.
Thank you. Doctor, I'm sure you had something to say
It's not
there.
a man's word.
It's not a man's word.
I want to say, it's not a man's word. The truth is that, yes, and men would always, anytime there is infertility in a marriage, then it is the woman. But the truth is that one third of the time, it is the man.
Imagine.
In another 1/3 of the time, it is the woman.
So,
and in another 1/3, it is due to unknown causes. And so when there is infertility in a marriage, let us stop blaming the women. That's what I wanted to chip in, to say that, look, men should be made to understand that they could also be cause of infertility.
Right.
It is not always the woman.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, in a case like this, I mean, I think I already mentioned it in the question you asked.
Yeah.
We should not get married because of children. Yes, we are Africans and all that, but marriage is not for children. Marriage is for companionship. Children are an additional blessing. So when you get married, enjoy the marriage with or without children. We should get that into our heads.
Yeah. Thank you. Our time is so fast, but I want you specifically to speak on quickly opinion and life choices. We need to know that our actions have consequences. When we are youthful and we are having all the fun, we need to know that one day, these actions would come and bite us in our behind. So please quickly.
Yes, that is true. And to our lady who brought her story, the truth of the matter is that any decision you take in life, you are going to get the consequences of it.
Right.
If you make a mistake, no matter how little, you will definitely suffer some consequences. If it is a sin you committed, God will forgive. But the consequences of that sin will linger on.
Right.
Now, let us assume that she tells her fiancé, and he decides that, well, I don't really mind. We can still go ahead and get married. It is fine. The question would be, she herself, how happy is she going to be in that marriage? Will she feel okay every time she sees her husband worried? She will think that, could it be that I've not given this man children?
That's why.
And even she herself, how does she feel about being unable to have children? I mean, even though we are talking about the fact that, I mean, it is not all about children and all that, but there is that feeling.
Yeah.
And so it is true. Any mistake you make, any choice you make in life, there will be consequences and you will pay. You may be guided to take a decision that will have less consequences, but you have to be sure that once you made a mistake, you are going to suffer some negative consequences.
Right. I want to take some comments quickly on our social media pages. This is Jemima Opoku Efriye. She says, how do you even want to keep this before marriage? Marrying him still can't avoid him from divorcing you or having children elsewhere. I hope you have thought of all these possibilities.
That's Jemima from Kumasi.
Yes.
All right.
All these possibilities before thinking of not telling your fiancé you claim you love. My dear, please tell him if you lose him now, it's better than later and making it worse. Thomas Owusu says, you said he needs children and think he will cancel the marriage. Should you tell him the secret? Do you think marriage will nail him down to you? Can't he still leave you after the marriage? Tell him now before you increase the weight of your awaiting broken heart. Okay, Kojo Leisa says the truth will definitely come out when the couple starts finding solutions to their childlessness, and this will end in a shameful divorce. A marriage based on deception will not last. Not everyone wants to have kids. She should look for such a partner who will love her for who she is. Okay, This is Akwesi Jr. He says, if you did the abortions with his consent, you have to keep your wombless condition to yourself. Wait after marriage for him to realize your condition. Should you disclose now, you are likely to suffer alone, since he is more likely to walk away. The two of you must... No, the current fiancé is not the one that made her cause the abortion, it's her ex. So if anything, she should go and marry that ex so that he will live with the consequences.
No, there's a reason they broke up.
I know, right? Okay, I'm trying to find more comments before we continue. Let me see. Okay, so we got some comments coming in. It says, if the lady truly loved the guy as she said, she should have at the first place said it and not accepted the marriage proposal, because she knew very well the husband to be will like to have his own kids, so you do not have to trouble him. Madam, I beg, stop this wedding, because it's not going to end up well in the future. Okay, there's this one about the law that I want to pick on what the law says. So this one is from Angela. Angela says she has to tell him. It will even make the marriage unlawful, because you are asked if you know of any impediments to the marriage before you marry.
Yeah, but that one is not an impediment to marriage.
No, I wasn't.
No, it is not an impediment to marriage.
So, Doc, finally, your final words. What should she do?
Okay, well, I think it looks like the consensus of my friends, my virtual friends, and even our social media viewers is simple. Transparency is key.
Yeah.
And this issue is such that if you don't disclose it now, it would definitely come out.
Right.
Unless you see, there's a saying that when if you tell a lie, you must tell several lies to make that lie true.
Right.
Unless she's ready to live a lie. And that would mean, we've already talked about choices and the consequences.
Yeah.
Once she decides to go that line, then the consequences would come in ripple effects.
Right.
The best would be to know his demeanor, study his demeanor, and find a very intelligent way of communicating. My friends also talked about doing so with a third party,
yes,
which I'm quite skeptical about it. If you don't get a good person, you will spoil
the whole situation.
So the best is to test his pulse, and then once you know his pulse, you know how to disclose it, or how to go about planning for life. Don't let your focus be on the marriage ceremony. That is the mistake a lot of people make. The focus is on the wedding. The wedding must take place. Let your focus rather be on the happiness in the marriage. That will be better. And once you are thinking of the happiness in the marriage, then you would know that, okay, I love him. Yeah. And so the best will be to give him the best in marriage. And aspects of it is to be transparent and to make sure he knows what he's going into.
Right.
Who knows? He might say, let's go ahead and get married. But even if he says, for this reason, I will not get married, it is better, and I said it already, it's better to break up in a relationship than to get married and get a divorce. And so she should also make sure she does this prayerfully. Even when the womb is out, miracles still do happen.
Yeah.
I am not promising a miracle. I am not a prophet, but I believe that if you are truthful to yourself and to your God, He will give you happiness.
Happiness, right. Thank you so much. Miriam, quickly, what your final words, and then because we do not have time, your warm wishes. We're still in the new year. If you will have any new year messages for anyone, you're all the way in the States. Quickly tell us so that I can move on to my other guests.
Well, my final opinion, just tell him.
Yeah.
No matter what comes out of it, just tell him.
Yeah.
It's better that way, because if you don't and you get married and he finds out, what is the guarantee that he's still going to be with you?
Exactly.
He might just, the day that he finds out, he might just ask you to just move out of the house. And what are you going to do? That's more shameful than you telling him before the marriage. And marriage is not all about, just like what Pastor said, it's not all about the ceremony. It's actually after the ceremony, that is when marriage happens.
Right.
So marriage is not just about the wedding, the engagement or whatever. It's after after the fact, that is when the marriage actually starts.
Yeah.
So I know I've not been married for too long, but yes, the ceremony, you're happy, blah, blah, blah. But when you go home, what is going to happen after the marriage? What is going to happen in the marriage? That is what actually the marriage entails. It's not all about the wedding and the joy and whatever it is. And I would also say with the choices, I'll say that our choices is what basically makes our lives. We make good choices, we make bad choices. We learn from the bad, we take from the good. So whatever bad decision that you might have made in the past, what you have to do is just learn from it and move forward with it.
Right.
And you were going to say something?
I was saying warm wishes. Greetings. This is greetings from abroad. So anyone you want to say hi to?
Greetings. Well, first of all, I'll say hi to my pastor, my counselor, Pastor Frimpong Manson.
Okay.
He is my counselor. I mean, he counseled me into my marriage and all that, and he still counsels me anyways.
Great.
And I'll say hi to my family back in Ghana and here as well. Those who are watching, I say hi. I'm on TV, so... and I wish everybody a happy new year, and I hope everybody stays safe.
Yeah.
COVID is still lingering around. Although we might think that it's gone, it's still lingering around. And with us, those who are actually facing it, taking care of patients who are actually dealing with COVID, it's real. I know lots of people don't think it's real, but when you're all gowned up and you can't breathe in your mask, you're wearing like 3 masks at the same time, it's not easy. So just be safe out there and wash your hands, wear your mask, and stay 6 feet away.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much. Philip, quickly, warm greetings all the way from Volta region, Nyebro. What are your final words and then your final greetings?
Okay, my final words is she has made a mistake, but that is not who she is. She has a good heart. She wants to right her wrongs. But she should go with the hypothetical situation. She should present a story. If the guy is uncomfortable, she should pull herself out. But if the guy is comfortable, then she comes straight with her story. That would be okay. But she wouldn't like sharing her backstory around. If the guy says no, you meet another person who also says no, then you are spoiling your image. So create the hypothetical situation first. If it doesn't go on well, then you know what next to do.
Right.
Then with my warm wishes, it's a month of love. So I have some lovely people out there. I want to greet one lovely lady. Her name is Edith. I want her to be safe. COVID is around. I need her to be alive. Thank you.
Thank you. And your lovely lady says thank you. Mansa, quickly, your final words, and then who you're saying hi to, very, very quickly.
Okay, my final word. I think that women should, for the want of a better word, be wise when they are in relationships. Because at the end of the day, whatever happens, they suffer the most. So you are in a relationship with a guy, he impregnates you, and I don't know whose decision it was to get rid of it, whether it was the man's, both of you, or the woman's. You need to be wise as women. You know, when we're growing up, our parents keep talking to us, and we need to know that we are in a real world. The men will always get away with it. They get somewhere and they say, you know what, I'm tired. I'm going to find somebody else who can give me children. You know, so as we go into relationship, we need to be very, very, very careful. And we need to be prayerful. We should go in, love the person, but we should love also with our minds, not our hearts alone. Because sometimes we make the love lead us astray.
Right.
And it brings so much wrongdoing, disgrace, consequences that we can never reverse, you know, ones that we can never forget. We know we are all human, we are fallible, we fall sometimes, but there are some of the falls that when we fall to get up, you will, but you know, you keep tripping for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
So women out there, please, let's be careful. Let's be wise. Let's love the men, yes, but let's go in with our minds and our hearts and not our hearts alone.
Thank you. Thank you. You don't have any warm wishes? Your husband, all the way in.
As you can see, I'm already in my red. You didn't notice, right? I'm already in my red. I'm so excited. Love is a beautiful thing. When you find the right one, of course, you are so happy and thankful. So yes, this is the month of love. Especially, let's show others the love of God, which is key. And let's love one another with the godly love that God has shown to us.
Great.
All my family out there, I say hi. My siblings, especially Alice. I know you are watching and we are going to talk after. So hi, greetings to everybody, and we'll catch behind the scenes later.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you so much. I would like to thank my viewers for staying tuned and watching till the end of the program. I am sure you have learned a lot. This story came with its educational aspect, the emotional aspect, and then some tidbits for us to take away, especially the women and the men as well. Doc, I know I haven't given you a chance to say hi to somebody, but I'll give you some 30 seconds to do that.
Well, I live with some 3 girls in the house, my wife and
the two.
And the 2. But as my mother is watching me from the north.
Oh,
and so I say hi, not just all those in Pandai watching me.
Oh.
And then people who read my nuggets every day. And tell them a book is coming up. They should watch out for it.
Please, a book is. I am one of those people. I watch it all the time. A book is coming up, so we are watching for it. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to my amazing crew. Thank you for Chris and Brad for my makeup. I will see you same time next week in the studios of Hope TV. This is Real Talk. Send your messages, send your donations, and if you want to sponsor the show Real Talk, send your contributions, cash or kind, and we will be very grateful to you. My name is Evie. I'll come your way same time next week. Enjoy the rest of your day.